Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast, and this is the review video of Crimes of Passion 2 Chapter 1 and the sequel. So, we were all excited about the sequel, and I read it as soon as it was released, and wow, I kind of was hoping for the start, right at the start I'm talking about. So remember in book 1, the main mystery was how Sonja died and other women were dying, so the ritualistic murders. And remember the book started off with a banger, like Sonja's running and then something, an art scene where the hooded figure, not a hooded figure but with wearing a mask, is coming for Sonja, and Sanja's hands against the glass, like crying for help in vain. So that was really well portrayed in that art scene, and that was a banger. And what we had in book two's first chapter, opening moments, it was again a banger of an opener. So we see what happened 8 years ago in that boat. We see Juliana, Tristan. Tristan was asleep, and Juliana was reading a murder mystery novel, I guess. And then Juliana was thinking about Tristan and their future. And then suddenly there was a bird whistle, and seemed like Juliana knew that bird whistle. And first she thought she was maybe sort of daydreaming, and then, or maybe just it's her mind is playing tricks on her. But then she listens to that again, and she hears it again, and then she goes outside to check it. So it seemed like whoever was sort of making that signal, that bird whistle signal, that is definitely someone who Juliana knew beforehand. So from the conversation, it seemed like for past few months, this hooded figure, has been bugging Juliana, and Juliana wanted this person to leave Juliana alone. And we don't know if it's a male or female. I personally didn't know, like from the conversation, who it could be. And so one of two ways this could go. First of all, this is Juliana's ex-lover, someone, because it seemed like Juliana knew that whistle really well. Or second, it could be it's someone who Juliana even doesn't know, but who has been bugging Juliana. Maybe it's one of Juliana's, admirer, and they want Juliana to be with them, not with Tristan, something like that. So either of the two ways it could go. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And then we see how in another shocking art scene, the hooded figure is extending their hand to grip Juliana's throat, and there's a shriek, and then it cuts off, and we come to the present time. And you can have a recap of book 1. And in book 2, we start off, we see we're going to a jewelry shop because there is a heist of a crown of Queen Amalia, something like that, who Tristan knew. So that's why she came to the detective agency, because NYPD police officers, as usual, incompetent, and we even make a comment to Officer Thompson, like, hey, do you still have the umbrella stuck up your ass? And wow, that was a quite interesting reply. And again, we try to help them, but they don't want to take our help. So we go inside, we investigate the vault and investigate the crime scene, and we come up with some important clues that there was a food sauce. So we thought that it was someone who was also a foodie, and there was a really neat work, and the thief knew what they were doing. And we bring back all those clues to our agency: Luke, Ruby, Mafalda. Ruby wasn't there primarily, so Luke and Mafalda, and our dog, if you adopted our dog. I named our dog Olivia. And so we see most of our gang, and then Luke digs up some information that this sauce, depending on what restaurant it is found and nearby pawn shops, like if someone stole the jewelry, someone stole those diamonds, they're gonna have to sell somewhere. So we find the name of one of those pawn shops. We go there in the van, and we see there was a knock on the van. We thought, like, who could it be? But it was Ruby. And from the conversation, it seemed like Luke and Ruby's relationship has progressed. So if you invested on I personally invested on that in book one, in bringing Luke and Ruby closer. So from the conversations, it seemed like they've been spending a lot more time together, because we significantly look at Tristan. So there's a line like that. And then we go out, Tristan, our main character. So we have to place a character. So we play Tristan, our main character, as fiancés. So we are about to be engaged. So, and we're gonna be buying a diamond ring. So Tristan is basically gonna buy us a diamond ring. So we go there, we charm the pawn shop owner, with our talks, like what kind of diamond we want, and you get to choose, and that would add your plus detective score. And again, this is back creative. It's not just you're hanging back and reading a smudge story like, oh yeah, the love interest is going that, having sex with some other characters, and I'm getting off on that. It's not like that. At least for like, you actually get to be really proactive. So I really like that. And then finally, when you go to the meat of your investigation, that you say that I want this tiara, those diamonds. So he recognizes us, that we are the detective Rose and Tristan. But then Luke and Ruby thought that he was going to attack us, but he was like, oh my god, you are the famous detectives who brought those victims to justice and caught those killers. So then he was trying to take a picture of us, and then he went upstairs, and then we used this opportunity in this diamond scene, and we can go to the back room, and we can sneak a little bit, and we can have a little steamy scene. It was not that steamy, but we get closer, Tristan, our main character, a little banters, and little kissing, and a little steamy scene. But then again, we had to break it, and then we take a diamond. Rather, Tristan, as usual, it's Tristan's habit to steal things, but this time Tristan phrased it as re-stealing is not stealing. So Tristan re-steals supposedly a diamond, and we hurry before the owner comes back, and we come to the agency. Luke runs some tests, and we also grabbed a notepad with a lot of code written on it. So from that, we found out that there were a lot of buyers and customer file, and only one was getting paid, and this could only mean that kind of high pay rate could only mean that was the person, Roger DuPont, who was a Ricochet, he goes by the name, who could have stolen the tiara and tried to sell it to that pawn shop. So usually he does this kind of stuff. This particular tiara has not been sold yet, but he does this kind of stuff. So we dig up a dossier on him, rather Luke does, and we read it. So he was in jail for 15 years because he was caught doing something like that, and then he came out of the jail 6 months before this incident, and because of his good behaviors, I don't know what kind of good behavior he was showing in the jail, but because he's back to his business, and he's also a big foodie, and it matches all the descriptions. So we have to catch him, but we have no address. Like, it's a really big ask for Luke to find anything on this guy. And meanwhile, the diamond that Tristan restole, Ruby does a little research and finds out that it was a French queen's 160 years old stolen crown jewel. So yeah, we did something good. But now the big question is that how do we find this guy? So we go to the restaurant where we usually this guy usually goes with Tristan. We go there, and Tristan gets to play as someone who has been stood up by our main character, supposedly. Again, another act Tristan will have to pull out. So this was a lot of fun and bantery. And meanwhile, when Tristan has this server of this French restaurant of Little Paris distracted, we get to her tab and try to find our client's name. Again, there was a little task to remember what was our our suspect's name, Ricochet's real name, Roger DuPont, and I forgot Roger DuPont's name then. So minus detective was there, and then we get that he ordered 5 times from 5 different addresses to the same mobile number. So we take the photo and then we come out of there. Of course, banter was still on with Tristan, and then we come back to the agency, and then we talk about this. And with the information, Luke manages to find some addresses of some warehouses, but it's a big complex. So which one could it be? One was some LLC, and another one was a abandoned warehouse, I believe, and we had to pick which one we should go to. One of them threw up something few months back, so I chose that one. For I didn't choose that one, I chose the other one, which was related to some mob activities, because Luke apparently said the mob people usually go with work with these people or any people at all. But there was a drug dealer one. Drug dealers don't work well with anyone, so we had to sort of eliminate that choice. But again, I was wrong at choosing the not choosing LLC, so I got a minus detective point. And then finally we have our target and we have to go there. So in the van, Luke, Ruby, main character Tristan, we go there again and we ready to ambush, but we see that there was a hostage situation. So someone's been taken hostage by this DuPont guy, and it's a reporter. So a reporter was sneaking around, but she got caught. So we'll have to be very careful, because this is not an easy case of just going there and catching this guy. And also we try to call the NYPD police officers and the station, but Thompson was busy in targeting someone they thought the Bird. Remember the Bird from book 1? So it was not Bird, because he got really scared after the Hardy killer case. So it was not him, and this kind of a neat job and this kind of a neat work is not can be done by him. We understood this, but NYPD officers, and Morris literally hung up the call. So we get really mad, like, why do we always have to clean this NYPD officers' dirty laundry? Why can't they do anything right? Like, why is it always us? And also in this book we see in this first chapter, Mafalda is getting really affectionate with Olivia, my dog. I don't know what you named the dog, if you adopted the dog back in book 1. So that's really good. It's an interesting progressive science that Mafalda was like this hard, strict boss early in book 1, but now we're seeing her soft sides. Yeah, we spent a lot of time with Mafalda and her wife back in book 1. We were invited for dinner in her house. So yeah, that's quite interesting. And again, the police officers, they didn't improve at all. Like, they didn't grow up in the span of 1 year for our waiting. And yeah, so this is it. The next chapter description says that how we're going to handle the hostage situation, and is our popularity, like, everybody knows us at this point now because we solved the Hardy killer case. Tristan, our main character, and even the pawn shop owner believed that we're going to be married. So is it going to be an obstacle in the way of rescuing that reporter, because that's a hostage scenario now, or even arresting and bringing that Roger DuPont guy to justice? It's gonna be a big ask. It's gonna be an interesting crimes to chapter again. So we'll have to see. So by far we started off with the meat of this book, Juliana's murder, but then we come back to New York. We see that Tristan was summoned to go back to Sokovia, but Tristan stays, and Tristan denies everything about our home country for the love of our main character. And we've been solving cases forever since here, but so far we have this jewelry thief case, chapter 1, and chapter 2 is also going to be about that. So at some point we're going to go to Dracovia and the whole drama is going to start. We're going to go to the real meat of the story. So far we learned about Casper, that Casper also stole that tiara once, but it was just like, because of his arrogance and stuff, swagger, he did that. Probably he was young, and Tristan retrieved that from Tristan's brother. And as Tristan jokefully says that Tristan didn't have to do much work, because Tristan's brother wasn't as neat a thief like this DuPont guy. But anyway, we will see what happens with this thief, and when we get to the meat of the story, Guys, this reminds me of Laws of Attraction book 1, because the Laws of Attraction book 1 meat of the story was that celebrity murder case that we didn't even get to until chapter 9. And this is something similar happening here. Like, this is Juliana's murder. We're gonna have to go back to Dracovia. The whole insiders, the whole everything choices ever told us, they just told us that we're gonna go to Dracovia, we're gonna meet Tristan's family, blah blah blah. It's all gonna be the royal thing, but we're not there yet. We are still in New York solving cases. So it's just a matter of time how many chapters until we get there. I think it's gonna happen soon, sooner than Laws of Attraction, at least, like maybe chapter 3, chapter 4. But this case is also interesting. This case has me intrigued, I'm not gonna lie. So this is Crimes of Passion 2, book 2, chapter 1 review. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comments, your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. I'm so excited that I'm mumbling and I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Till then, peace out.